Hello everybody and welcome back to Edgewater, Saskatchewan, episode 33. So, I was going to, off the back of the last episode, get straight into the farm build, or the kind of expansion, I guess, the new track, the round road, whatever you want to call it. But then I realised right at the end of the recording, there is quite a lot of stuff that needs to be done. Before kind of rushing into an episode like that where you kind of lose a month. Main thing being, we did kind of pick up on it in the last episode, and this needs water. So we've obviously skipped through a month like we always do. So we are now in November. The snow will probably start at some point. It probably starts snowing actually during this episode. Knowing what this map is like, but yeah, our water situation is kind of a bit dire really. This has only got 125 litres of water, so we do need to sort it. And then I was also thinking we need to sort the grass, because if we don't kind of get that grass cut probably in this episode in November, then we are probably going to miss out. Because we need to give it time to ferment into the silage, ready to sell it in January. So there is quite a lot to do actually. We haven't got as much time as I kind of underestimated right at the end of the last episode. Now this field does need quite a bit of work. It's ready to go now. We could cut it right now. We could stick it into the silo straight away. But the yield is kind of far from the best. In fact, it's probably at its worst, because as you actually get into the murky depths of the field, you can see the pH value at the bottom there is bad. It's red in fact, and the nitrogen is also bad. This does need quite a bit of work, so I'm thinking we'll lime it, we'll fertilise it, and then we'll cut it. They are the three main goals of the episode. Now just an overview, as always, the morning chores, we can't really escape those. I did check, you may notice the money has changed ever so slightly. I did sell one pig, just the one, before I skipped the month, and that's because we only had one due. So in actual fact, looking in the bottom corner, we've only got 19 pigs now, so maybe there wasn't actually one due. Perhaps I didn't even need to sell that one, to be honest with you. But I sold the oldest one that we had, about £800 or £900, and then minus the kind of property maintenance which we get every evening. So yeah, these guys are still doing okay though. Food is still looking pretty good. It's probably about halfway now. But the straw is good, the water is really good, and they are building up that slurry in the meantime. So I mean, what we could do, I'm kind of improvising here now. What we could do actually is that this does convert to a slurry spreader. You just have to add the attachment, which changes this back valve here into a slurry spreader. It's a small one. It's a really small one, but we could potentially do that on the grass field. See how much difference it makes. That may be worth a go. Whether I do it in this episode or not, I'm not sure actually, because that means I would have to drive it back to the store to customise it, which is quite a slow process. So manure is extremely low. I did say that in the last episode as well. So first things first, let's do the daily chores. Let's top up the manure, then we'll move on to the water. Fill up as much as we can. We're going to make that long drive with the Mac now, with a big container. And then as soon as we've done that, we'll get straight on with this grass field. And we're going to be cutting it fine on money, because we've got to buy fertiliser. Now there is a bit of lime in the shed, because I did buy some more, and I put it back where I kind of always store the lime really. Whether or not 3 bags maybe, whether that's enough to actually do that field, I don't know. In actual fact, there's more there than I thought. The thing with lime, it's so cheap. When you go to the shop, you might as well just buy the maximum limit and just bring back whatever you can really. But it's deceiving. The hand always comes up like I can pick it up, but I definitely can't. Now there is a fertilizer bag there as well, and that's a full bag. That is really handy. So I don't know, we may even get away with not having to go to the shop today. That would be nice. Right, anyway, we need to stop chatting. We need to get straight on with our chores. So first of all, we'll pop the bucket on the tractor and top up the manure. Well, you might as well just take the whole lot out, put it into that open air greenhouse. It does take quite a lot. So let's just switch over to the bucket. So I'm recording this episode the evening before the roleplay has actually gone out. I've recorded roleplay, I've edited it, I've done everything ready to go, it's scheduled in, it's ready to be uploaded, but it's actually going to be uploaded the day after. So this is Friday evening at the minute. So what did you think of it? Did a little bit of a... It's a little bit of a different episode, I think. It's definitely one of those kind of story episodes where you've got to build the plot up. But that garden centre, I hope you appreciated it. It did take a little while to do, as you can imagine. I've mentioned it a few times, so that, you know, I've had to kind of finish off doing little bits of landscaping to it before I could go for it. And actually what I've been waiting for is some ever so slight variations to mods. So as soon as I seen a mod come out which allowed you to have kind of plant trolleys, that was it really. That was what did it for me. Interesting how that went green as soon as we put that in. I always wonder how that works, you know, it confuses me every time. Right, we'll keep going. We'll just empty all of the manure out. We might as well, while we got the bucket connected. So yeah, no, as soon as I seen that mod for the kind of plant trolleys, it is a production mod. I think maybe it might be a crossplay one. It's even something we could get into one of these series, to be honest. But that just did it for me. I produced loads and loads of the product, the plant trolleys, and then I used them more as decoration, to be honest, just to give you that kind of authentic garden centre feel. And I really liked it. I was quite happy with that. Yeah, and hopefully you kind of thought it looked pretty good. Quite genuine, I think. That's just a practice run, by the way, to what I've got planned. So probably in the next episode of the roleplay, it might reveal a little bit more of my plans in relation to kind of a really big setup that I want to do. I'm waiting for the right map, which is due imminently. Yeah, I think it's the map that everyone's waiting for, but I'm waiting for that map to do something similar. I'm going to create a really big feature. I'm not going to jump to that map, I'm not going to change the series onto that map, but I am going to use that map. I'm going to utilize it, and I'm going to do something pretty cool. Something that's going to be quite big, and something that, to be honest, I've attended similar kind of things down here in Cornwall, and they're really good. An annual kind of show, I guess, without giving too much away. But yeah, that little bit of post that we're going to get once we move into our new house should hopefully reveal a little bit more, but that will take time. I thought the garden centre took a bit of time. This other map is going to take a heck of a lot more time, I think. Anyway, right, that's the first part done. We'll just pull the tractor up here. Put it back here, I think. Kind of goes quite well here. It's out the way, which makes a change. I normally leave stuff in the way. Now I'm just going to jump to the Mac, wherever it may be. There it is. Okay, right. It's closer than I thought. So we'll reverse the low loader back into the shed. We're not going to need that for a minute or two, but we are going to need that nice looking water tanker there. Now, I said in the last episode, and when I said it, I knew I shouldn't have said it, but you know, they did an update without the tree flickering issue. And then, guess what? On and off, once in a while, it's coming back. Serves me right. I should never have said it, but it's definitely doing it again, isn't it? It's up to its old tricks. Seems to be the ones rendering in the distance now rather than the ones up close, so it's kind of improved, maybe? Don't know. Well, there's great demand at the Northern Mill. Let's just check that out a minute. What is it going to be for? Our canola. Alright, forget it. We haven't got any of that anyway. Would have been very coincidental if it was one of the crops we did have. While we're here, we'll just pull out that grain hopper, I think, and just empty out that auger wagon. And I also want to be honest with you, I'm certain it works, but I've never actually tried it myself. But I just want to pour that into a different section, and just kind of see how it works, I guess. What it looks like in the bottom corner when it gives you your different kind of fill limits. I just want to see what it looks like. But yeah, we'll get this flax probably dropped into the front section of this truck. Good. Well, that's kind of first bit ticked off, I guess. I was pretty certain it would do that anyway. I've just never tried it myself. I've never actually been in a position where I needed to put two different types of grain into one trailer. But it works, so that's quite good when you're playing a series like this, I guess, where, to be honest, we haven't needed to, as of yet, buy a silo to store the grain. This kind of works. This makes it worthwhile. It's almost kind of a mobile silo, and it just about took it all. I'm glad I went for the front and not the back, or the middle one, I should say, because it probably wouldn't have fitted into that. Anyway, good. We'll just drive this packet back up while we're here. I think we are outgrowing this tractor. All you can see in the rear view mirrors is trailer. All you can pretty much see is trailer. You can't see anything more than that. This tractor is a bit too small. Certainly too small for our kind of field work now. Maybe it's alright for yard work. A bit of moving around and chopping up some pallets and things like that, but yeah, this is my next lookout in the shop will be another small tractor which uses narrow wheels. Of course, that's the important part. Okay, that's the grain trailer pulled back into the shed just to make sure the grain stays nice and dry, ready for when this snow appears, which will be soon. Very soon. And we'll just now connect this up, and we're going to have to head down to the main water fill point and get this filled up. So there's lots of things we need to do. We need to kind of plan for, ready for when we get our kind of influx of money. Again, I think I pretty much say it every time we kind of make some money, but although it may sound like a lot of money initially, it really isn't. We have probably got, I mean, 40,000–50,000 pounds worth of repair jobs that need doing. This Mac needs major repair. The truck needs major repair. That's not including the nice things, the niceties of kind of respraying. It just needs a lot of work. I remember I had this issue last time. For some reason it doesn't feel this from this fill point, and I don't know why. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's a bit annoying it doesn't fill it. Just fill it normally without me having to do any kind of PC trickery to make it work. It's a bit annoying. Don't quite know why. Maybe I need to drive it to a different fill point. Maybe that'll work. We'll give it a go. But yeah, you can see now we are struggling to even move once you've got a full load. No, I know it's a heavy load, isn't it? It's 40,000 litres of water. But this Mac does need some serious work. And it's becoming less and less efficient, probably burning more fuel. I was in the comments talking to NC, it was that suggested it, or just mentioned it. He wasn't suggesting it, he's just trying to give me some little ideas. But if we're going to spend money on the spinnery, which we are going to do 100%, why not maximize what that spinnery is doing and maybe think about sheep, which is actually a good idea. Now, right at the very beginning, you know, one of my things is kind of try and do something that's different to other people, and most, I don't know, 80% of kind of farm sim YouTubers tend to go for sheep. It's an easy thing to do, they take minimal work, and for that reason I just avoid them. However, I've not actually, I don't believe, had sheep in anything that I've recorded, albeit I've not been recording for very long, but I haven't actually done sheep, so it is kind of different for me, and it does kind of make sense really to maximise profit from the spinnery. The spinnery is going to cost £60,000, so we want to be making that money back relatively quickly, plus the profit, which obviously it's all about profit, isn't it? That's what we want to generate. So now I'm just going to let this go crazy, to be honest, because this goes through it the fastest by far, and actually there isn't anything else in the farm that is in desperate need of water. So there we go, that just took 15,000. In fact, no, it took more than that, didn't it? That just took 25,000. So let's go find where it is. Yeah, that it must have been empty. Must have been empty, or it only had a few litres of water in it. So we timed that quite well, really. Now, just while we're in this screen, we've got 212,000 litres of silage, and hopefully we can add another 80,000 to that, maybe from the big field today, or at least cut today, which will top that up to 300,000. You know, you pretty much make half as much as you've got with silage. So if we had 300,000 litres, we would make 150,000 roughly in money, in dollars. So that is good. Now this one here, so that's still got 4,000 litres of water. Doesn't really go through water too bad, that one. So that is okay. And then finally it's the maple syrup. Again, that's got 5,000 litres of water. So they're doing okay. Now, I probably should have reversed in, because we're not really going to be able to manoeuvre very well. But I'm sure I pretty much did this exact thing last time. This is like deja vu, actually. So, we can manoeuvre our way. We might as well top off the water into the maple syrup just while we're here. There we go. So that took all of the rest of it, which is fine. To be honest, all maple syrup needs is water. It's like free money. Now we'll just we'll leave this in the same spot. It's quite a good little spot for it actually at the minute. It's not a bad little spot for it, but I do want to find a proper place for it eventually. Now going back to the sheep kind of talk, maybe that's what I can put in that random little triangle section of field, which is completely wasted down by our main crop field. Maybe I can get some sort of sheep pasture. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a fancy one. It doesn't even need to be a building, to be honest. It could just be an open pasture, because all it needs to do is just generate a little bit of wool, just so we can keep topping up that spinnery. So I'll have a look. I might have some mods installed. I might not. I'll have a look if I haven't. But as soon as we make some money, that seems like something we need to do at the same time of buying the spinnery. Just makes sense, really. Right, jump into the John Deere. And I can see the fertilizer spreader right there in front of me. So this will be a nice easy task. And what's it got in it at the minute? It's got lime in it at the moment. So what I probably need to do is, let's open up that door and let's actually reverse the combine back a little bit further. Without damaging equipment, hopefully. Yeah, good. That's given us enough room. So we'll drive around. There's lime in there already, so we might as well just do the lime first. Doesn't really matter what order we do it in. I just know that we're going to be doing this a few times. In fact, what's that there? That's lime there, isn't it? Let's get rid of that, because actually that's been in the back of my mind bothering me for a little while. Wow. Well, that was barely worth the fuel to reverse, was it? Right, let's fill it up and we'll get on with the job. I'm pretty certain I probably, by the time I edit, I'll flip this into a time lapse. Okay, we are pretty much done. I don't know how we've managed to do this without going to the shop yet, but honestly, I think I am speaking too soon, because that, I believe, is it. Yep, that is all of our lime. Now, there's the tiniest little section left. So small, but the amount of lime it's taken is absolutely insane. I mean, it always is, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's a lot of lime gone down in this field, and you can kind of see it there where it's not quite rendered actually. That's all we've got to do. It's missed a few little odd bits. I can go around and manually do them if need be, but at this point I'm more concerned about this kind of section here, and I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to stop and start. Now I know in theory the automatic application rate should kind of control it, but I don't feel it does. If you're tactful in the way that you do this, it doesn't use anywhere near as much. Now, we have got 93 litres left apparently, so let's deactivate the automatic drop, and that should then allow us just to get these odd few little bits. Hopefully. It's just a little bit of OCD coming out, I think, just because I want to make it all look white. Those bits that looks like I haven't done it, that's actually bits of grass that I didn't collect last time around, so I can't do anything about those. That there I don't think is grass though, is it? No, it is. Right, I know I missed this tiny little corner. Good. And I know I missed this tiny little piece here, which I've got. Good, and then we will go back and get that over a tiny little spot. So actually, this, we had 6 bags of lime plus that 200 litres left over in the kind of like pallet bag crate type thing. I don't know what they call them, but so this pretty much uses 6 bags of lime. So we need to bear that in mind in the future. We kind of always want to have 6 bags remaining. How far is this 1,000 litres going to go? Oh, I don't know. You tend to find that it doesn't use anywhere near as much fertiliser, but the nitrogen levels are pretty bad, so it may do. I mean, to be honest, that's looking pretty promising so far, isn't it? If I activate the automatic application rate, which would be good, all of a sudden now it will probably go down a lot faster. Okay, so this part didn't actually take very long at all, and it's not too bad. It's not using it up too bad. Now in the bottom left corner, I know it's on the little mini map there, it is only changing the colour to kind of a light orange. And I will check, different crops need different levels, and it could well be that actually shows as perfect, or it could be that we need to reapply a little bit more, maybe on a different month. We'll have to see, but I think, to be honest, that should have kept it now at perfect. Let's just jump out and have a look. Yeah, so pH value is perfect, nitrogen level is perfect. Grass is great. It's just such a good crop because it regrows. You haven't got to do the hassle with seeding. You can kind of set workers to do pretty much anything up until the final baling, but you know, they can cut the grass for you, they can windrow it. I don't know if the swather works on grass. I'll have to try that with a worker. And I wonder if, yeah, it will let me go over the red bits I did wrong, which is good. Yeah, I might have to try the swather on a worker to see if it works with grass. I know it doesn't with a crop, but I don't know if it does with the grass. Interesting to try. Is it going to put a bit more here? Wonderful. Good. Okay. That's actually a pretty good result. I was expecting to have to do quite a few trips back to the store. Alright, let's jump ourselves into first person. We'll just lower that down. hopefully. There we go. And we'll just pop that back where we got it from. Okay, well, that might be it now for the little John Deere. What's the great demand at Brenda's? Let's have another little look. Brenda tends to take pretty much everything she does. Okay, so Brenda who takes everything wants a bit of milk. Yeah. We don't have any milk for you. So, we might as well get it cut. Why not? This should as well boost the environmental score. So just before I start, I'm just going to pause the menu a moment and just check out what the environmental score is, supposedly. 66, so that didn't change. This one's 85. The environmental score does show now 78. And again, you are right, NC. I think sometimes you have to like unpause it and pause it again, and it sort of refreshes itself. But as soon as you select a field, it just kind of gets stuck in that menu. I have noticed that quite often in the past, actually, but I never really realised why. But so let's see, 66. As soon as we harvest that, in theory, that should kind of jump. I don't know how much longer we've got before this becomes outdated. The data, we might have to be purchasing that data probably after this harvest, actually. So I don't know if that even has an environmental score when that happens. We will soon find out. Right, so let's lower this down, get it started up. We'll just go around the outside. Oh, look at that, look. Swaths it and everything. I don't even think, actually, talking about swaths, we've taken the rake down yet and sold it, have we? I want to say I just seen that in the shed, so I'll have to run that down in the pickup at some point. So, you know, maybe we might push £1,000 out of it once it's kind of repaired, if we're lucky. But either way, it's a couple of nights sleep, isn't it? This is not going to take long at all. I probably won't even time lapse this, to be honest with you. What I will do, once I've done the headland though, I'll just test the worker and see if a worker will actually cut the grass using this. So yeah, still no news on the valley, the old farm. Still trying to get used to that really long name for a map. But yeah, no news. I know that Black Sheep Modding have done the required fixes, the required updates. They obviously send that through to Giants. It's been bank holiday, isn't it? And I know the bank holidays are the same in Germany. I don't know if in Germany they follow the kind of the coronation and the royals, because obviously over here in the UK we've got another kind of impromptu bank holiday. In fact, we are now going into another bank holiday weekend. So if they do follow that in Germany as well, which I believe is where Giants kind of do most of their kind of work from, then potentially we won't see that update until mid to late next week. But I am keeping my eyes open for it. Once it's kind of available on ModHub, then I'll start to kind of load up, get some rules into place, get some things black and white, and most importantly, I need to get on the map. I could get on the map in its current version, but I don't want to start anything because it's a new save kind of update where you have to start again, so it's just pointless me doing anything. But I do need to get in the map and just scout it out really, and just make sure it has got the right kind of fields. You know, it's no good doing a kind of realistic type series where we play by lots of rules and money's difficult to earn if actually the field prices are £400,000 each, and you're never ever going to be able to afford them. It doesn't make for a great kind of series or a great sort of gameplay for me really. So I will scout it out, I'm pretty certain though that's going to be the map. I am keeping my eye out for a different one. I know there's a map come out called, I think it's Rayback, but I don't know where that's based, and with my whole kind of world tour kind of thing going on, I've already done series in Poland, and if that kind of falls into a Polish map, maybe it doesn't, but if it does, that's what's going to put me off doing it really. From what I can gather, the Valley the Old Farm is a French map, although I don't think it's based on anywhere. It's kind of fictional. It certainly kind of seems aimed at a French map, just the type of buildings and the type of things that you can get in the map. I'm pretty sure it's French anyway. And to answer my own question, yes, you can set a worker. Not that we needed to, but I wanted to test it. You can set a worker in the swather to do grass, but you can't set a worker in the swather to do crops. So odd. Doesn't really make sense, because it is essentially the exact same thing, like identical. It's just a crop instead of grass. So you wouldn't think that would be a scripting issue, would you? You wouldn't think so, but you know, I'm not an expert by any means on that kind of thing, so maybe it is scripting. Who knows? But anyway, right. While he's doing the last little bit, yeah, that was a good guess from me. It is definitely outdated data all of a sudden. So, because it's outdated, is it now not gonna? Oh yeah, no, it's because I'm on the wrong menu. 81. And that may go up a couple more because there is still a little bit of the field left to do. There's still that much of the field to do. So maybe about the same. Go for kind of mid-80s again, which puts our overall score at mid-80s. So that will make all the difference when it comes to selling. Right, I've had enough of him. Let's take over again. Now, this is kind of an odd episode for me to record, because it's a bit of a struggle to kind of grasp the time on this one, because I'm not sure if this bit that I'm doing now, or the bit leading up to me doing the talking, would have been time-lapsed, or whether I would have just spoke through it. So this is one of those ones where I'll find out how long the episode is when I edit the episode. But I think it should be a half decent length one. To be honest, it's funny really. All the feedback I got kind of suggested the slightly longer episodes were a preference anyway, and I agree with that. When I watch YouTubers, you know, Daggerwin, I mention Daggerwin sometimes because if anyone hasn't seen Daggerwin, you must be sleeping under a rock, because he's kind of the he's the one who's renowned for YouTube, I guess. I mean, I think the whole survival roleplay thing initiated with Daggerwin. It's probably his brain that came up with that idea, and certainly his brain that started putting that into action first. But I've noticed with his survival roleplay episodes, they're just getting shorter and shorter, and you kind of get, you know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes if you're lucky, and by the end of it, it's kind of, I wish it was a bit longer. I could have done with watching that for another sort of 15 minutes. So yeah, I agree with all the feedback I get, but ironically now, it's hard for me to actually do an episode that's 20 minutes long, because there is too much to do. So I'm kind of struggling to get an episode under 45 minutes, which isn't a bad thing, but yeah, it's a good problem to have. I like those good problems to have. Right, so it stayed at 81. Don't really know what more we could have done to that, really. Potentially rolled it. Yeah, maybe we could have rolled it. Maybe it's down to the type of field itself, because the soil type is not a particularly great one. It is silty clay, but This doesn't really give you much detail, does it? Doesn't need ploughing. Nope, doesn't need rolling. It will do now because we just cut it. That's probably the trick. So maybe I need to keep an eye out in the shop for a roller. I know that rolling grass actually counts as kind of a fertilizer stage as well. I don't know how that quite works with precision farming rather than just the in-game version, but I'm not too sure. Right, do my usual, just check the shop. Nothing in there of interest, so we don't need that. To be honest, I think we're good. Certainly feel like we've done enough for this episode anyway. Again, I don't know how long it's going to be until I edit it, but hopefully it isn't too bad. Next episode, again, we'll probably not do the farm build. We'll probably go into picking all of this up. This is a load's worth in our forage wagon to put into the fermenting silo. Again, the forage wagon, that's another thing that, you know, potentially needs an upgrade. Ideally, one that's slightly bigger would be good. One that allows you to put the silage additive on, which gives you obviously a decent yield bonus for not really doing any work extra at all. We need to spend money on a lot of things. If we make 200 grand by the time we sell everything, that ain't really gonna do anything. That's nothing. I think even £1 million at this stage would probably quite quickly disappear just in equipment and a couple of fields. Yeah, it's still tough. It's still a tough series to kind of follow, which is good because as long as it's tough, it's interesting. Now, I am just going to end the episode on one question, and I would really like some suggestions actually. Do I put the track through here, down, knock a little bit of our field off, and then put it out onto the main track? Or do we make up some kind of, I don't know, story, I guess, and just continue this track here? Just literally, pretty much flat ground. Continue it through here, which I can do. I don't own the ground, but I can do it. It will allow me to do that. And then just join it up, maybe between the tree and the lamppost. A bit of a tight squeeze for the Mac, but just join it up here and just kind of have shared access with this farm. So that, I mean, that's by far the easiest option, but I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's what you would do. Maybe if I owned this huge field, it wouldn't seem so bad because we would have right of access anyway. But I don't know. Maybe as a rule I have to buy that field to do it. Or maybe I pay kind of a role play amount to that other farm. It's kind of a fee for having a bit of shared access with their main drive. I don't know. But if you've got any suggestions, I would really appreciate it because I'm not too sure. Part of me still wants to build a track, put some bridges in place, run it straight down to the front. I just feel like that would be more my kind of style. But that's quite a feasible option. That's not a bad idea. We could do replacing the pig pen as well. Oh, we're not going to have enough money to do everything we need to do. It's just not going to happen. But the great news is, I still love it. Still one of my favourite maps, probably ever. Actually, in all the different versions, this is a real good map. I love it. Anyway, decent progression. You'll probably see this Monday, maybe Tuesday. I'm recording it on Friday. I may have recorded the next episode by the time this one comes out as well, so as usual, if you give me any suggestions, I'm not ignoring you in the next episode, I just might have recorded it already. But overall, pretty good. We're looking quite strong. roll on January, when I have a bit more money to waste in the used shop. But until then, and until the next episode, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate you watching, and I'll speak to you very soon. Cheers and gone.